This is John Wilson's My View now.
So we have a Zika health crisis, John, in the state of Florida. You have Washington sitting on its hands, Congress divided and gridlock playing out for months. How can this happen?
Here you've got the worst of Congress here in front of us, Craig. Probably the best of Florida, trying to overcome a very difficult problem here and doing a fairly decent job. But the state of Florida needs a lot of money here, and the Congress can't provide it because they're more concerned about potential cuts in Ebola, potential cuts in climate change, in how politics is played out. The Zika virus is getting lost in all of this confusion and this political division that's overtaken Washington. That's why Donald Trump is where he is today, because they can't get things done. I'm not sure he can either, but they can't, and they've proven that here.
And you have this plan, $1.1 billion plus from the Republicans, the president calling for $1.9 billion. They cannot seem to come together, and their plans seem to be laced in politics.
See, that's where we came from on this discussion. We had no communication between the President of the United States and Congress. He wasn't calling them in regularly, the leadership, the way previous presidents have done that, and tried to have a relationship with leaders in Congress on both House and the Senate. He wasn't doing that. So here he goes to Congress with a good idea. I need $1 billion here to help Florida, to help protect these people. Instead, the political divisions kick in because he has no rapport. He has no relationship with them other than a political adversary.
And you have leadership in the House from Wisconsin. You have leadership in the Senate from Kentucky. It is not as much a threat there as it is to the state of Florida. As Bill Nelson said, maybe if Zika was creeping into Kentucky, we'd have a very different story. Do you think he has a point?
Well, yes, he does. Right now, it's focused in this one neighborhood, actually, in North Miami Beach, Wynwood.
Wynwood, yes.
Wynwood. There were 14 deaths there, yes. But there was another one. And there have been others. And this Zika could travel. Mosquitoes travel. They have a very short lifespan, as you know, just really a few days for a mosquito. But the potential for damage that could be caused to pregnant women and babies is beyond the pale here in terms of being unable to deal with it. And I don't know what we do about it now. Congress needs to be called back. That's what we do. Somebody needs to be able to convince them that we've got a real, the World Health Organization, in addition to CDC, everybody else says we need to get this stopped now before it mushrooms into something way beyond where it is now.
And if it does not, we're hearing assessments from the U.S. Surgeon General and others who say that we have a scenario in which money will run out and the fight against Zika will come to a halt.
Yeah. What does that tell you about our priorities? We've got people priorities over here, and we've got personal projects that are underway in Congress. That's why we're all politically divided now. We can't get focused on emergency subjects, one of which is Zika. The other could very well be the election of the next president of the United States.
Play it out for us. Where do we go from here?
Well, we have a difficult issue ahead of us here. We've got problems. Congress needs to get back in session. The politics is difficult for any of us to comprehend that it's reached the lowest point that I can remember in 45 years of covering news. I've never seen two candidates with so much negative baggage become the potential president of the United States. I've got problems with both. And I asked one of my friends who's done this for a long time the other day, who works at news, I said, what are you going to do? He says, I'm not going to be happy no matter how I vote.
Well, I think he's in good and populous company based on what you're seeing in the polls.
Yeah.
John, thank you so much for your time.
Craig.